Let's do this. Ready? Hello, people. Good morning. Another beautiful day. Yup. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good. What? What's up? What's up, Linux and Steam Deck fans? What's happening? Oh, so we got a new Linux kernel on 6.2. Well, let's see here. Finally got a copy of XFCE now. I'm about to mess with it. And Linux Mint and Slackware. Oh yeah, gotta get me some old desktops and get down on these OS and see what I can learn here. Oh yeah, I'm a Linux user, man. Slackware, Linux Mint, and XFCE, man. Oh yeah, I think they got another one too called Endeavor. I heard Endeavor. I was reading up on it. So yeah, I like using Linux, man. I'm big on Linux. But anyway, got Linux kernel 6.2 here. Listen to this. And it supports Apple. And for you Raspberry Pi lovers, 4K at 60 hertz. Listen to this. It says here, Linux kernel 6.2 release. This what's new. This is what's new. Let's get to this here. It says here, a new version of Linux kernel is available with a collection of important hardware performance and security improvements. Announcing the Linux kernel 6.2 release on Linux kernel developer mailing list, LKML, creator Linus Torvald urges people to try it out. Nothing. Maybe it's not a sexy LTS like 6.1 end up being, but all those regular pedestrian kernel want some test love too. Says here, as you know, the Linux kernel is developed and maintained by a worldwide community of engineers and enthusiasts, while a great number of those who contribute to Linux kernel do so as a part of their day job. Many others do it in their free time of their own accord and on their own terms. And to them, we are grateful. Says here, with that gratitude in mind, let's take a closer look at what's new in Linux 6.2. Linux 6.2 new features. Ready? Features. Says here, fittingly, for the first kernel released this year, Linux 6.2 serves up a substantial set of new hardware enablement. Most notably, out-of-the-box support for Intel Arch graphics and staying with Intel support for Intel on-demand drivers. Then it says in parentheses, in-app purchases for extra CPU features in 4th gen Xenon CPUs. Says here, older kernel Skylake CPU gained a performance boost with call depth tracking, a feature Phoronix describes as a less costly mitigation than the indirect branch restricted speculation IBRS, also designed to address the ret bleed CPU speculative execution vulnerability on these chips. Yeah, Linux got you covered, man. Anyway, it says here, Linux 6.2 is the first version of the Linux kernel to offer mainline support for Apple M1 Pro, Max, and Ultra chips. As work done with Ashai Linux developer upstream, the inclusion was formative, so those looking for the best possible Linux experience on Apple Silicon should continue use Ashai Linux kernel builds. It says an update to the NTFS3 kernel driver includes a new hide IDOT file mount option. Then it says in parentheses to make files hidden when viewed on Windows. A new case insensitive mount option to enable case insensitive folders / files, and a new Windows _names mount option that prevent files / folders from being given names not allowed in Windows. Oh yeah, you guys are set. Anyway, it says here on the new driver front, their support for the Sony DualShock 4 gamepad and the PlayStation HID driver, supports for sensor and fans in 1x multiplayer gaming handheld, support for Habana Labs and God D2 AI accelerator, and a slew of hardware monitoring sensor in ASUS motherboards include the ROG Crosshair Extreme. Says here other notable features in Linux 6.2. Here we go. Says here early NVIDIA RTX 30/Ampere GPU support in Novia. Update a ZSTD compression code. Miscellaneous BTRF-FS performance enhancement. New mount option for Squash FS file system. Foundational work to support Wi-Fi 7 and 800 gigabytes per second networking. Yeah, technology moves at the speed of light, folks. Says here, fast file/folder creation in exFAT driver. RISC-V support for persistent memory device. Intel IFS driver now stable. Modest power saving for Intel Adler Lake N/Raptor Lake P. USB 4 Wake on Connect/Disconnect support. Support for Chrome OS Human Presence Sensor HPS. And then it says Raspberry Pi 4K at 60 Hz display support. Then it says here, even more info on the latest release? Glance at Phoronix features overview for top level info, or dive into the details with LWN Merge Report 1 and LWN Merge Report 2. Says, getting this update, Linux 6.2 is available to download as source code right now, so you're free to download and compile by hand. As a fixed release distro, Ubuntu does not make new kernel release available to existing release as a software update. Through LTS release, do not get periodic new kernel updates that are back ported from later releases. However, you can use Canonical mainline repo to install Linux 6.2 on Ubuntu-based distros. This is not recommended as a mainline build. Undergo no testing or quality checks, do not come with support, and may not be issue free, i.e. use at your own risk. And I guess and that's for experienced users too. But if you're a new user to Linux kernel, it's best that you seek advice from experienced users, and then go on from there. So, but for people that have been using Linux kernel, 6.2 is the latest update. So indulge yourself and have some fun. You Linux users and and you Steam Deck lovers, man, you just been getting updates and games and new features. But 6.2 comes with a lot of new features, So Raspberry Pi is covered, Chrome OS is covered, USB is covered. The Adler Lake CPUs are covered. RISC-V support for persistent memory device, faster file/folder creation in exFAT driver, 800 gigabytes per second on Wi-Fi 7. Oh yeah, you guys got some updates. New mount option for Squash FS file system. Miscellaneous for BTRFS performance. Update ZSTD compression code. And of course NVIDIA. So you Linux users, man, all you Linux kernel engineers, have fun with this. You got the experience you already have the experience. But for newcomers that's using Linux kernel, practice with it, practice with Linux kernel. But also, if you run into an issue, seek advice from experienced users. That's one thing about this tech industry. you know, there's always someone that's, that's better at something. So even though, you're a newcomer, to Linux kernel, and you want to give it a try, you're not alone. So you got help out there that can help you with the task that you're trying to accomplish. So yeah, always seek advice, man. It's like you got people that have different experience with this Linux kernel stuff. So yeah, and they're very good at it. So it never it never hurts to ask questions. So yeah, give it a go. But anyway, leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still Star Wars and Star Trek playing for Dark Side. Go. Peace. Sitting there laughing.